My name is King Edward Antoine, and I was born and raised in Rain, Louisiana, and raised in Lafayette, Louisiana. I said I was about like 17, and my first music was like Zydeco music. Clifton Cheney was my cousin, and all my cousins, my brothers, and we played music and cousins, and they took me in as a family and taught me. Clifton put me on the stage with him. I was 17 then playing Zydeco music. Then I changed and went to playing blues and country music in white clubs where we couldn't get off the stage no way. So I had to go. I was the only one they could trust with go get the food, the alcohol, bring it back to the stage for the band, So I did that for about 3 or 4 years, and I decided I'd move up north, So I moved to Portland, Oregon, and I stayed in Portland a year playing blues. I had my own little band. Then I played with a jazz group up there, that 12 orchestra band, jazz. So my brother, Nolan Struck, lived in Chicago. He said, hey man, let's get into the real blues, you need to come down here. So I said, well, cool man. So I got on the bus, and he picked me up in Chicago at the bus station. So I got there. Then nobody knew me too well, so I went over to Teresa's Lounge on Michigan Avenue in the basement, and I got to meet Buddy Guy, Junior Wells, Cotton. And I mean, they was getting down with the blues. So I didn't have no gig, so I was asking for everybody to give me a gig. Didn't nobody want to give me a gig. So Teresa told me Flinton looking for a bass player. He didn't have no bass player that night, Flint Robinson. So I played bass on my guitar for him, And finally Teresa asked me, what do you play? I said, well, my guitar, I'm a guitar man. And she asked Flint to let me play. Flint said, okay. A bass player came in, and I rocked the house, man. So I turned it out, everybody in the place stood up when I got on the guitar. My influence was really BB King, Albert King, Muddy Waters, and Holly Wolf. And I grew up with that type of music back then, because I did the last 45 with Jimmy Reed. My brother Nolan Struck played bass, and I played guitar for him before he died. But back to Teresa's Lounge, after I played bass for Flint, I played guitar for Flint that night. He didn't want me no more. I was too good. Junior Wells said, come on, play for me, man, So I started playing guitar for Junior Wells at Teresa's. I didn't have no problem getting no gigs after that. What is the blues? Hey, before I started playing blues, I was like foreman. And if people look at me and think that's all I did in my life, play guitar. I was in the field, man, in rice farm, cotton. My daddy was sharecropper. I drove tractors at night. So when my cousin them turned me on with the music business, I decided I quit that, and went to playing music. So I got good at it, because it wasn't hard for me to learn something. Once you show me something, I learn it and I go and play. Now, when I got to Portland and played with that jazz group, I was playing all the songs, but I didn't use my chords, the name of my chords. So when I got to Chicago, Mark Higgin, you probably heard of Mark Higgin, and Halber Rodge, took me in to the Leaning Brothers studio. He said, hey man, I hear you playing behind McKinley Mitchell. He said, you playing that music, man. He said, but do you know what you're playing? You know your cards. They started calling the name of the cards and stuff. I said, all I know, I'm playing what I'm hearing, man. He said, well, y'all need to teach you that. So they took me to the studio, charged me my cards, changes, my diminished, my minors. And I started playing jazz with Mark Higgin and Halber Rodge and them. So Tyrone Davis start singing with my little group. He didn't have no big record then. Nolan was playing bass, I was guitar, and Jimmy Mays played drum for me while I was in Chicago too. It's Jimmy Mays right here. He played drum for me. He was my drummer in Chicago. So when Tyrone made it big, I decided to go with McKinley Mitchell. Then the Purpose Band was booking McKinley Mitchell. So that made me go play the big gigs in the theaters with Ray Fox, big orchestra, and like 18, 15-piece orchestra. So I was in the Ricky Theater every time they had a show coming, that Michael Jackson and all them, we was the open act. So I traveled with McKinley and Purpose Band for a long time. So me and Nolan was the original Blues Brothers. We were the original Blues Brothers. But we didn't know nothing about contracts. All we did was go to Lil Nolan and the Blues Brothers. So we went as the Blues Brothers, somebody stole our name, you know. So we didn't know nothing about contracts and nothing like that. We just play, you know. The next thing I know, I said, well, after me and my wife broke up, I said, well, I'm going back to Mississippi. McKinley said, I'm going back to Mississippi too. So when I got down here, McKinley had signed up with Malaco Records, and they hired me to put all of his music together. And all the Rain of a Rainbow town I live in, all of a sudden, you know, I tried. I wrote all that music for McKinley. I never did get the right because they paid me off. You know what I mean? Like they used to do in the old days, pay you off. Then you put all, but it's your music, but they pay you off to put songs together. Oh, I loved it. Because all we had to do was get on the bus, travel. Most of all my gigs with McKinley was the theater gigs. We were working for Ray Fox Orchestra. You know, we open act. So we traveled from one theater to another. The nightclubs, I had played all of them before I even went into that. But when I got back here in Mississippi, I had to really play the blues. So I went on for myself. I said, well, it's time for me to do something for myself. So I went recording with Johnny Vincent, Ace Record. Hey, man, I love it. I'm like BB King. They got to take it off my dead body, man. I love it. It's in my bones. I don't make colors. Music ain't got no color with me. If you up there playing, you call me up there, I'm up there with you, and I love to play with you. See, I hear people talking about racism and all that stuff. I grew up with white guitar players, black guitar players. I played country, I played zydeco, I played blues, I played jazz. I learned all of that. But now I'm doing something for King Edward now. And I'm finna do a new album. And Peggy Brown, my manager, is right behind you. And she did that last the 50 Years of Blues album on me, and I went to Nashville and did it in the same studio that Johnny Cash recorded. Now you know that was good. Yeah, I went taking the blues in the country studio, and it was fun, man. All these guys were studio musicians; they knew what they was doing, so it wasn't no problem about it. Music is what you get out yourself. You know what I mean? If I can make you feel me, I'm happy. If I can make you feel me, that's not something I ain't doing right. I tell them to make sure they know what they're doing in the music business nowadays. Because when I was coming up, nobody knew nothing about contract. All they wanted was a CD, a 45, and a car to ride in. But now, make sure you know what you're doing. And if you're going to write a song, make sure you get your copyrights. Get your copyrights and get your publisher and all that. See, I didn't know none of that. See, they was taking all my money that what I didn't even know I had. When I called BMI, they told me, I see your name on a lot of songs, but you need to go back and talk to the one that got the publisher. So that means I didn't have nothing coming to me. You know what I mean? They took all my money, all my talent. So now I'm doing something for King Edward. And I'm gonna be there till God take it from me. And I'm finna do a new album on my brother, Nolan Struck.